to Unews for this Tuesday, February 11th. I'm Andrea Linares. We begin this hour with the race for the White House. The first in the nation primary is underway in New Hampshire as voters weigh in on the Democratic presidential field. And in true New Hampshire tradition, the first voters cast their ballots at midnight in the tiny community of Dixville Notch. Carolina Sarasa explains. Now, just a quick fact for you, no Democrat since the 1970s has placed lower than second in New Hampshire and then become the nominee. And for more on what's going on in Manchester, New Hampshire, let's go straight to Fabiola Galindo. She's there with the very latest. Fabiola, what can you tell us at this time?
Hi, Andrea. How are you? Well, here in the voting site where we are located right now, we've seen a big flow of voters coming in this morning. Many of them hadn't made a decision until reaching this place. Many of them just... The turnout for this year is expected to be around 280,000 voters are expected to come out and vote, actually, a little bit more than in the past elections in 2008. So really, the results, like I said, the polls are showing that some of the favorite candidates are Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, and also former Mayor Pete Buttigieg. But really, the final poll are, I would say, the final results that are expected later tonight. The polls close at 7. By the time we would expect at least the preliminary results. Andrea.
Fabiola, we are hearing that Joe Biden is apparently leaving New Hampshire, skipping his election night party, and instead heading to South Carolina. Why is that?
Yes, Andrea, apparently the campaign of Vice President Joe Biden has decided to not wait for the results here in New Hampshire. Maybe they are anticipating a defeat, see the front runner. Andrea.
There is still a long road ahead. Thanks so much, Fabiola Galindo, reporting from Manchester, New Hampshire. And back in Washington, the president's new budget proposal for fiscal year 2021 is guaranteed to see pushback from the Democratic-controlled House. President Trump asking Congress for more money to fight illegal immigration and expand nuclear capabilities while cutting back on federal safety net programs for the poor like Medicaid, food stamps, and the Affordable Care Act. Lorraine Cáceres explains.
The president also wants to cut the budget for the CDC, but we would redirect some of that money for the infectious diseases unit. Also, the budget for the EPA will be affected, cutting 50 programs and 26% of that budget. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Lorraine Cáceres, for that latest information. Meanwhile, as proceedings continue in the wake of the Russia probe of the 2016 election, a sentencing recommendation for Trump ally Roger Stone. At first, now to the growing outbreak, a new coronavirus case has been confirmed right here in the U.S., and we are talking about one of the Americans evacuated from Wuhan in China who came down with the virus in California. Meanwhile, the number of cases worldwide continues to soar. But as the virus spreads beyond China, the search is now on for a so-called super spreader. His name is Steve Walsh, a businessman from England who traveled to Singapore and then France, the UK, and his local pub. Officials suspect he may have passed the virus to at least 7 different people, and it's believed he has now recovered from the coronavirus. Royal Caribbean reports it has ended its general restriction on passport holders from China, Hong Kong, and Macau. On Saturday, an alarming new report, the Justice Department is blaming China for that massive Equifax hack in 2017. It's a breach that affected more than 145 million Americans, and now the DOJ has filed charges against several Chinese nationals. Grecia Lastra has more. Coming up next, and welcome back to Unews. A California community gathered to remember 3 family members who were killed in the same helicopter crash that took the life of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. John, Carrie, and Elisa Altobelli were on that helicopter, headed to a basketball tournament. Dulce Castellanos has more on their memorial.
The Altobellis were remembered in a celebration of their lives, and in 2 weeks, the public memorial for Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna will take place at the Staples Center. In Anaheim, California, Dulce Castellanos, Unews.
Thank you, Dulce. Such sad news. And today we're receiving new video that shows what a mountain biker saw when a Boeing 737 MAX 7 took a test flight on Monday, 11 months after a pair of crashes led to the grounding of the entire 737 MAX jet fleet. In immigration news, later this month, the U.S. government will begin implementing the new public charge rule that will make it harder for low-income immigrants seeking to come to or trying to remain legally in the United States. Luis Mejia explains the new changes and how they will impact people who rely on public assistance. Coming up next, new developments in the... And welcome back to News. Today, there are new developments in the search for two missing Idaho siblings whose mother fled to Hawaii after police began searching for them. Reports say Lori Ballo had her daughter's cell phone with her, and that phone could actually offer some potential clues in this case. Rafael Rodriguez has the latest. So a 5-year-old boy in Southern California died after being mauled by the family pit bull. Police say the child was home with an adult family member when the incident happened. And a 20-year-old in Louisiana has admitted to burning 3 historically black churches last year. Holden Matthews pleaded guilty to 4 of the 6 charges against him in court on Monday. Paola Byron has the latest. And now to Arizona, where a community is mourning the loss of a friend. That man, an Army veteran, Purple Heart recipient and father, was tragically murdered, shot outside a Phoenix bar early Saturday morning. Ricardo Arambari has the story. Truly heartbreaking story. And coming up next, after multiple meetings closely, because we still have much more coming up next right here on Union. In today's tech report, details on the new Samsung flip phone, but first, making guns safer using technology. Here's Annabelle Sedano with the story. Hi there, that's right, and we begin with this. An Arizona man has a new device for those who want more than a gun lock. The product is called the Shot Block System. Once it is armed and on the base, the alarm will go off if it is moved an inch from the base. It also locks the gun so it can be fired. And if you're not home, you will get an alert on your phone via text or message or phone call to notify the owner that the gun has been removed. This is all possible because the base is connected to the home's Wi-Fi system. Moving on to Samsung. Yeah, Samsung is set to officially reveal its Galaxy Z flip phone. Samsung gave us all a sneak peek in a 30-second ad during Sunday's Oscars broadcast. The commercial shows the phone in action with shots of it flipping open to reveal one large screen. It also shows a phone sitting with the top of the screen facing vertically for a better video chat experience. We'll get all the details about the phone's specs, price, or release date later today. And finally, speaking of reveals, Cadillac has unveiled its newest Escalade. The 2021 car will be able to drive itself on major highways without the driver even having to hold the steering wheel or put their foot on the pedals. An in-car camera will make sure the driver is watching the road ahead. And of course, the new Escalade also offers augmented reality navigation with 3-dimensional sound cues. Sounds fancy, right? I'm Annabelle Sedano, and that was your daily dose of tech news. Have a good one, guys. Now, here's a big health question for you. To eat or not to eat red or processed meat? It's an issue that's been debated by researchers for some time, and now, thanks to a new study, there's new data that may have you putting down your steak knife. Gianni Aponte explains. Closely. In other health news, having a long commute could actually put you or even your child at increased risk of cancer due to exposure to carcinogens in your... And time now to check in with Carolina Sarasa with a preview of what's coming up during the second hour of News. Caro, what's new?
Thank you, Andrea. A lot more info coming up in minutes. We have details on why Amazon wants President Trump to testify after that company lost a major contract. And we also have the latest of the U.S. Attorney General and his aggressive new actions against sanctuary cities. We have all the details. And we have new information about a shooting outside a Walmart in Arkansas. 2 police officers injured in that incident. Stay tuned for that story and more coming up shortly. Andrea, back to you.
Thanks so much, Carolina. We'll be waiting for you, and I hope you can tune in to check this out, because coming up in just a few minutes after this quick break, the Broom Challenge goes viral once again. Every year, 45 children from different countries come to the United States with the hope of being adopted thanks to the efforts of the organization Kids Save. The program has been very successful. Approximately 85% of the children are adopted. Josie Garcia tells us the story of Sebastian, who recently found a new place to call home. An Oklahoma man is using his skills to help the working homeless. After working in the RV industry for over 15 years, he's now using his knowledge to transform beaten-up old campers into nice, tidy little places to live. Marity Marungi has more on how his projects are helping others in need. A lot of work, but I'm sure it really pays off. And finally, today, an old viral challenge is sweeping the internet once again. You probably know what I'm talking about, the broom challenge. In this a try, I have my floor manager, Javi. He's been attempting this for several minutes now, right? How's it going?
It's kind of tough, but I do it, but it stays up for like 5 seconds and it goes.
Yeah, we were actually keeping track to see for how long it would actually stand, and there you have it, just about 2 seconds or so. He's the only one that has been testing this,
You need a better broom.
so I need to practice as well. We have carpeting here, so I'm not sure if that really has any sort of impact on whether it stands. I still think Javi has been doing a better job than I am. Look, there we have it. Nope, 2 seconds once again. We just keep testing this here. And I also believe that this broom is not in the very best shape. So perhaps you guys are trying this out at home with your kids just for fun. Post a video online and just have fun while you do it. That's all the time that we have for now. Thanks so much for watching. But remember, stick around for hour 2 of Unews with Carolina Sarasa. Thanks so much for watching, guys.